Hey, my friend, welcome back to English Adventure, your favorite place to learn English while discovering how to become the best version of yourself. I'm Adam, and today I've got something special in store. Let me start by asking you a question. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move ahead, effortlessly building new skills, creating a life they love, while others feel stuck in the same place for years? I used to think maybe they were just lucky or born with some secret talent. But over time, I learned that there's something much more practical and powerful at play. In this episode, we're going to explore exactly what makes real change happen both in your English learning and in your life. And trust me, by the end, you'll walk away with not just inspiration, but actionable steps to get started. And before we dive in, if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe to English Adventure so you never miss an episode. Plus, we have a free resource waiting for you, a downloadable PDF guide packed with exercises, vocabulary practice, and reflection questions to help you put today's ideas into action. All right, let's jump right in. I still remember the day I realized that progress doesn't come from one big decision. I was sitting at my desk, staring at my English textbook, feeling completely overwhelmed. I thought, how on earth do people master this language? Then I started thinking about my friend Lena. When she first moved to a new country, she could barely introduce herself in English. But a year later, she was confidently leading meetings and making new friends. Was she just smarter than everyone else? Absolutely not. She simply did something many people overlook. She made small, daily choices that slowly added up. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. It is time to change your English and life. Small daily habits for big success. Whether you want to improve your English, start a new habit, or build a life you're proud of. Now, you might be wondering, if small steps are so effective, why don't more people take them? That's a great question. The truth is, even though change sounds exciting, most of us hesitate. We tell ourselves stories about why it's not the right time or why we're not ready. Let's look at some of the most common reasons people stay stuck. First, fear of failure. Have you ever thought, what if I try and embarrass myself? What if I get it wrong? You're not alone. But here's the thing, every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has failed along the way. The only difference is they didn't stop. Second, lack of clarity. Maybe you know you want to improve, but you have no idea where to begin. So you end up overthinking and never taking that first step. Third, negative self-talk. This is when you hear that voice in your mind saying things like, I'm not a language person, or I'll never be good at this. And finally, waiting for motivation to magically appear. You tell yourself, I'll start practicing English when I feel inspired. But here's the big secret motivation doesn't show up first. Action creates motivation. I've seen this over and over, not only in my own journey, but in so many learners I've coached. Let me give you a personal example. There was a time when I desperately wanted to improve my English listening skills. I kept thinking, I'll start when I'm less busy. Weeks went by and nothing changed. Finally, one evening, I decided to put on a podcast while washing the dishes. No big plan, no fancy materials, just one simple action. And you know what? That tiny decision led to a habit that transformed my understanding of spoken English. I share this because I want you to remember progress begins the moment you take imperfect action. So if you feel stuck, the first step is to recognize these mental barriers and gently challenge them. Once you've identified what's holding you back, the next question is, how do you start creating real momentum? One of my favorite principles is the 1% improvement rule. Imagine if you got just a little bit better each day, only 1%. It might not look impressive at first, but over a year, those small gains compound into massive growth. This is the same principle athletes use when training, and it's exactly how language learners become fluent. Let's make this concrete. Maybe you want to expand your English vocabulary. Instead of trying to memorize 500 words in a week, start with 5 new words a day. Or, if you want to become more confident speaking, commit to recording a 1-minute audio note every morning. Small, consistent efforts are so much more powerful than occasional bursts of enthusiasm. I've seen incredible transformations from people who embraced this mindset. One of our listeners, Raphael, shared that he went from avoiding English conversations to hosting online study sessions, all by starting with 10 minutes of daily practice. His story is proof that you don't need to do everything at once. You just need to start with something. Now, while action is crucial, there's an even deeper layer that shapes our success-your mindset. Think about it. If you believe you're stuck, you'll act accordingly. But if you believe you're capable of growth, you'll naturally look for opportunities to improve. This is what psychologists call the growth mindset versus fixed mindset. A fixed mindset tells you, I'm either good at this or I'm not. A growth mindset says, I can get better with effort and practice. Which one do you think will help you move forward? Another fascinating thing about mindset is how your brain literally rewires itself to focus on what you believe. Have you heard of the reticular activating system, or RAS? It's a filter in your brain that decides which information is important. When you buy a new car, you suddenly see that model everywhere. That's your RAS in action. Similarly, if you keep telling yourself, I'm terrible at English, your brain will find evidence to confirm it. But if you say, I'm improving every day, your mind starts looking for proof of progress. This is why reprogramming your thoughts matters so much. Here are 3 powerful ways to do it. 1. Affirmations. Positive statements like, I am capable of learning English. 2. Visualization. Imagining yourself confidently speaking and understanding. 3. Gratitude. Focusing on what you're already doing well. I know it can feel a bit awkward at first, but these practices are proven to help shift your mindset over time. While we're talking about mindset, there's something else that trips people up waiting for the perfect moment to start. Let's be real, there is no perfect moment. When I started this podcast, I was nervous. My recordings weren't flawless. My ideas were still taking shape. But if I'd waited until everything was just right, we wouldn't be here together today. That's why I love the idea. Done is better than perfect. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start. I want to challenge you right now, think of something you've been putting off. Maybe it's practicing English conversation, applying for a new job, or learning a new skill. Now, ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today? Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because action creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Speaking of momentum, let's talk about something people often forget: your environment. It's not only about what you do, but also about who you surround yourself with and what you allow into your mind. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you spend time with people who complain and discourage you, it's much harder to stay inspired. But if you connect with others who are positive and focused on growth, their mindset starts to rub off on you. Here are some ways to create an environment that supports your goals. Follow uplifting creators and educators who inspire you. Join communities of English learners where you can share progress and challenges. Limit exposure to negative media and social feeds that drain your motivation. When I joined my first English learning group, everything changed. Suddenly, I had people to practice with, share victories, and keep me accountable. Your environment can be the difference between giving up and moving forward. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share something extra to help you on your journey. Each week, we feature a few words and expressions you can add to your vocabulary toolkit. Today, let's look at a few phrases related to growth and change. Incremental, small, and gradual. Compound, to build up over time. Momentum, forward movement, or energy. Breakthrough, a sudden, significant progress. Try using them in your own sentences this week. All right, my friend, let's do a quick recap of today's big ideas. Change doesn't require huge leaps, it starts with small steps. Your mindset shapes what you see and believe is possible. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Surround yourself with people and influences that lift you up. Progress is built, daily done, is always better than perfect. If there's one thing I hope you remember, it's this: you already have everything you need to start. And don't forget to grab your free PDF guide from this episode. It's full of reflection questions, vocabulary practice, and step-by-step actions you can take right now. I'd love to hear from you too. What's one small change you're committing to today? Send me a message or leave a comment. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this episode, take a moment to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. Your support means the world and helps more learners join our English adventure community. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, and remember, you're capable of amazing things. Take care, and I'll see you soon on English Adventure.